Welcome back to Mac Music Review. Today we're going to be looking at Magic and Bird, everybody! But before we get into the review, just wanted to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description. You're going to want to read like how this channel works is down there. You're going to see what albums I'm reviewing next, how to request an album. All that good stuff is down below. Now, what is the style of Andy Mineo and Wordsplayed present Magic and Bird? What is the style? What does this thing sound like? What does it feel like? Is it light? Is it serious? What does it sound like? Magic and Bird is an extremely light, extremely carefree, extremely just fun record. What they aim for is just to be, Andy Mineo, of course, has a goofy side. And Wordsplayed as well has a very, very goofy, weird side. And both of the weird sides, both of their weird, careless, goofy sides come through on this album. They can both be serious when they want to, but on here they just decide to have a good time. Most of these songs are basketball inspired. That's where the lyrics come from, and it's just them being goofy. It's them flexing. Like on the song Kids, it's literally Wordsplayed just talking about flexing on his exes and stuff like that. And Andy Mineo has plenty of goofy lines. They both have plenty of goofy lines. They're here to have a good time and not much else. The music on this record is mostly trap inspired. There are lots of little bits and pieces of something original and interesting, and something that, that sounds really unique, but most of this is just their kind of take on trap music. A lot of it just falls in line. It has a little bit of distinctiveness to it, but you're going to hear a lot of stuff that sounds a familiar sound if you listen to trap music, and I'm sure you've heard plenty of trap music if you listen to rap music at all. You've heard plenty of trap. And even Andy Mineo even says on the song, I just heard this, I never picked up on this before, but on the song Layup, he said, somebody, maybe the name of a producer, sent me this trap beat, and I hate that. And then he says something, but I just had to rap on it, or something contradictory like that. So trap music is the main inspiration, the main style of music you're going to hear on here. Another thing that I have to point out on this thing, a thing that makes Magic and Bird stand out, one of its biggest features, is, of course, the people on the album, Wordsplayed and Andy Mineo. They both have very distinct, separate styles. Andy Mineo has kind of a light, kind of goofy voice. He just sounds goofy and careless a lot of the time, and it communicated through his voice. And Wordsplayed has the heaviest, thickest voice ever. It's so deep. His voice is so heavy and so deep. But he's mostly singing these goofy lyrics, and but there's such a contrast between them, and I have to point that out, because that's a very noticeable part of this album, of this mixtape, I should say. Now, how good is this thing? Is it great? Is it good? Is it not good? First things first, on terms of what this album did right, of what this mixtape did right, Andy Mineo and Wordsplayed have a great chemistry on this album. They're so different, and that difference, that contrast, really makes this project stand out, and they makes each other stand out. So Andy Mineo has this weird voice, and then you immediately afterwards hear Wordsplayed on the next verse, or the chorus, doing his super deep voice, and then you hear Wordsplayed's super deep voice start off a song, and then you hear this light, goofy voice, and it's just a great contrast. They both seem to really, fit in well with each other, even despite the differences. And Andy Mineo this is funny, he's crazy pasty white on the album cover, and then Wordsplayed is not. He's about as dark as you can get. So it's another funny contrast. It's just really, these guys, like Magic and Bird, that's the whole point of where the album title comes from. Magic and Bird, in case you didn't know, were basketball players who were very, very different, but ended up becoming best friends. One of them was black, one was white. They all acted very differently, but they ended up becoming great friends. They were rivals and then friends, and it's a cool story. And it totally fits in with, the title of this mixtape totally fits in with Andy Mineo and Wordsplayed. As far as the music goes, I'm a little bit conflicted. It's a little bit inconsistent. I would say that there is some really great stuff going on in the music, and I also say that there is some really not great stuff going on in the music. And I'm just gonna, piece those out. Piece out the good from the bad. First things first, the skits. I think the skits are worth mentioning because instead of just like serving like to serve a purpose of introducing a song or coming after a song or adding to a song, these skits really like stand on their own. You can just listen to the skits by themselves without listening to the album and enjoy them. The first one is very clever. It's really cool. You have this like retro video game music going on with like a robot voice. Not really like the Microsoft voice, but like a different robot voice kind of. And it's talking about Magic and Bird. And then you have like flipping through the channels. And then you eventually get to the channel of Andy Mineo as like a basketball coach giving an inspiring speech with Wordsplayed in the background kind of echoing what he's saying and supporting him. And it's hilarious. It is this narrative. It continues on the songs. It starts on the first skit and then continues on Discus, which is hilarious. And then on Legend. It's carried on to like the last song and it's hilarious. They did a great job with the skits. Dunk Contest. The music gradually gets cooler throughout the song. It like switches up. It starts off kind of like, oh, this doesn't sound that great. And then it gets cool. And then there's like stuff going on in the background. And this song just has some cool stuff going on. And then you also have the biggest highlight on here, which is Say Less. Unfortunately, this is like a short song produced by Gavi, of course. Gavi's a legend in the Christian rap industry. And it's awesome. This is just the most lit beat, the most fire production, just one for one for one for one. The whole song just sounds awesome. This just hits all the right places. Awesome beat, making an awesome song. Lyrics aren't that great, but great beat, great music on this one. Another really cool part of the album is the song Judo. And not the whole song, but like the introduction to Judo and like something in the middle and then the outro. It's this, I think it's Beam is the guy who does the voice. But you get the music shifts and the lyrics shift and it all becomes really slow and there's like really atmospheric and really, just a really cool vibe with this voice and this like distortion on the voice. And it just sounds awesome. The song has a really cool vibe going for it in parts of the song. The rest of the parts of the song sound kind of generic, but has some of the best moments on the album come from moments of this song. Wordsplayed absolutely kills it on the first half of the song, Dance, on his verse. Just sounds amazing. His voice works perfectly with the music. Super punchy. The darkest part of the album, I would say, in terms of music and lyrics, but Wordsplayed just kills it. Sounds awesome on this song. The last big highlight on this thing is the song Legend. Legend, just, it has the skit going for it. That's cool. And then it has a really, really good beat. It might be like a little bit of a throwback. It's just more enjoyable, more interesting, just a better beat than what you hear on most hip hop these days. Just sounds pretty legit. It's a pretty legit, pretty good song, thanks to its cool music. Now, for the bad. Kids, the number one most popular song from this album. I think it's the most popular song from this album. I thought it was so boring and dumb the first few times I heard this song. I did not care for it at all. Honestly, it's not the worst song ever, but the opening music is really boring, and eventually it does change, and there's a part near the end where it does the shift, kind of like in Judo, and it actually sounds pretty cool, but then it just goes back, and honestly, I can see people enjoying this song. It's probably just me, but I don't really like this song. The music just doesn't do it for me. Run Up the School is probably even worse. RUTS. This song is boring. The lyrics are dumb. I mean, there's nothing going for it in terms of lyrics. The music is so boring. It's so generic and boring, and this song really doesn't have anything going for it. It's just not good. It's just not a good song. Lastly, Break Bread and Team really just aren't great. That's the biggest problem with these songs, is they just don't really deliver. They're not like downright terrible. I don't think there's anything about them that's like downright terrible. The music is okay. The lyrics are okay on both of these songs. They're just kind of boring. I just don't really there's just not, I don't know if they're boring. They're just not great. They're not like amazing songs. And for that, I don't really care for them. One of the worst parts of this album is easily the skit Metro. This just makes me uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable. It's Andy Mineo talking to a woman who sounds like she's like in pain for some reason. And she's like slurring her words and speech, and I don't know what they're talking about, and it's weird. It's awkward. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. I really dislike it when I put this on shuffle and this skit comes up, and I like don't skip it because it's so short, but like it's not good. I don't know if Andy Mineo watches this. I don't know what you were thinking with this skit. Man, I like you a lot, but what was it? What was this? Lyrics on this thing are very careless, very dumb, very fun, very just them having a good time. Can't really, I mean, I guess I can criticize it because there's nothing like super great here in the lyrics. Occasionally they do have a message or a good like meaningful line, but it's kind of all like made insignificant by the rest of the album, by the very careless tone of the rest of the project. So lyrically, it's not terrible. It's just dumb and careless and all that good stuff. Fun. In conclusion, this thing is okay. It's not the best thing Andy Mineo has ever done. In terms of production and in terms of, I mean, the vocal diversity, like in terms of vocally, because of Wordsplayed, this is actually kind of cool. It's a cool thing for Andy to do a collab project. This is the first, like, collab, you know, where it's 50-50 collaboration with Andy Mineo and another guy. And that's cool. And these songs, the lyrics are kind of fun. These songs can be enjoyed. And there's some cool stuff going on in the production. But this album has too many flaws for me to really get on board with it, for me to really like it. There's too many low points or meh points. But there's also, you know, a good amount of cool content that makes it worth checking out, I guess. I'm going to give this thing a 3.25. Okie dokie, fam. What did you think of this video? What do you think of Andy Mineo? Have you ever listened to Wordsplayed? Have you ever heard of Wordsplayed? He has a few projects that are kind of interesting. Near the end of the channel, on the W's, I actually have reviewed the Wordsplayed project Clowntown, which I think you should check out. It's worth checking out. You're going to see my full thoughts on it. I don't love it. You're going to see what I really think about it once I get to that, but there's some cool stuff going on there. If you like Wordsplayed's delivery, worth checking out. You guys are great. I love my 6 subscribers. I love that I have 6 subscribers with this super unprofessional video quality. I think that's cool. Or 5 subscribers. I don't know. They might have all unsubscribed by now, but thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.